are undoubtedly one of the coolest pedal companies of all time, not just because their pedals sound great, but also because they look great and they're easy to use. They have that really nice blend between simplicity and sounds that can either do exactly what you want really quickly or can kind of do the unexpected. And today we have not one, but two pedals from their Smalls edition. This is the new Attack Vector. This is a combination of a phaser and an envelope filter. You can use it just as a phaser or just as an envelope filter, but I think the real fun lies in combining them. Then we've got the Stoneburner Subatomic Fuzz. You have a crazy sounding fuzz circuit in here with one of two sub-octave choices on here. If you're familiar with the MXR Blue Box, to me, this is like a refined version of the Blue Box. And then the Attack Vector, it's one of those combinations that I feel like should have been stumbled across and put into a pedal a long time ago. But as often with Way Huge, they've come up with it, put it into a really nice compact package on here. We're going to hear each pedal on their own and then combined. And then I want to give you some examples of how I would actually use these to make some music with them. So the demo is going to be in two parts. You'll have, I guess, the standard walkthrough where I'm going to show you what all the controls do. I'm going to show you the sounds. I'm probably going to pull a bunch of terrible guitar faces. And then I'm going to give you three different examples of how I've been using these pedals. Let's go. Let's start out with the Attack Vector. You have two distinct sounds in this pedal that you can combine: a phaser with a dedicated speed and feedback control and an envelope filter with a range and sensitivity control. There's a three-way switch, which in the up position will let you get the phaser, in the down position will let you get the envelope filter, and you guessed it, in the middle position will give you a combination of both. Both of these effects are kind of renowned funky guitar effects. So let's start out with the phaser. We'll go through the range of controls, then we'll hear the envelope filter, then we will combine them. That's one of those pairings that just works, and I'm surprised no one's really thought of that combo before. I would say it's like peanut butter and jelly, but I'm going to say it's like Vegemite with butter. That's the correct way to have that, by the way, if you're curious. So I really like the phaser on its own and the envelope filter on its own, but together, they've got their own thing going on. Let's move over to the Stoneburner now. This combines a fuzz with sub-octave effects on there. Basically, you know, Mad Max Fury Road, that guy with the guitar, the Doof Warrior. This is the pedal he would have in his rig. I'm going to start with the sub-octave control all the way down. There's a two-way switch on here that lets you choose either 1 octave down or 2 octaves down on there. You've got a control for the fuzz, you've got a control for the overall tone, and then you've got an overall volume. So you can kind of control the fuzz and the sub-octave separately. You can leave the sub-octave out of the equation completely if you just want to use it as a nasty sounding fuzz. Let's hear it with the Strat, then we'll hear it into a dirty amp with humbuckers, and then I also want to hear the attack vector into a dirty amp with humbuckers. But for now, this gets pretty crazy. In case my faces weren't giving it away, that has to be one of the nastiest sounding pedals I've ever heard, and I mean nasty in a good way. That's like a spoonful of Vegemite straight into your mouth, and I'm going to run with that Vegemite analogy on there because in isolation, you might hear some of those sounds and just go, I mean, it's fun, it's exciting, it's gloriously disgusting, but when are you actually going to use that in a track? So what I want to do is give you 3 examples of how I'd actually use these 2 pedals in a recording context. The first thing that we're going to hear is the solo for the Ragdoll song Rust. 2 different ways. One trick that I picked up, I think it's from Per Nielsen of Scar Symmetry, who might have got it from Fredrik Thordendal from Meshuggah. You double track a solo and you use a phaser on it. So because the phaser LFO is just kind of running in the background, it's highly unlikely that the phaser is actually going to be in phase or in sync with itself. So you get this really wide sound in there with this kind of unpredictable phase shifting. But what I'm going to do to that after you hear it once is add in the Stoneburner pan down the center for that disgusting sub-octave sound. These are the 2 versions of the solo. Let me know which one you like the most in the comments below. The combination of the envelope and the phaser for the left channel and then just the phaser on its own for the right channel there. Next, let's hear this over kind of like a Floydy style backing track on here. And what I'm going to do is dial in the phaser because phaser on distorted lead guitar sounds really nice. Then I'll use the envelope setting like an auto wah, which is another classic combination. Then we'll hear the combo on there. Then I'll kick in the Stoneburner to just absolutely smooth everything out and give it some ridiculous texture. finally, let's hear something that's very 90s rock. Like if you were in a band that was influenced by early Chili Peppers and you just discovered drop C tuning, I'm going to play something kind of funky with the attack vector on there, and then I'm just going to kick in the Stoneburner for just a wild sounding solo on there. I've added some Sound Toys Echo Boy onto the fuzzy part of the solo in here just to make it sound really psychedelic, and it just gets more and more disgusting and kind of unpredictable as it goes on. I'm not saying this is a good solo, but you know, it might be an effective one on a track like this. To hear your thoughts on both the attack vector and the Stoneburner in the comment section below. Let me know which combination of sounds you like the most, and let me know what your favorite Way Huge pedal is, because with these two and then the Atreides, which I have got and I demoed recently, along with the Superpuss and the Swollen Pickle, they're well represented in my pedal collection here. They just have that lovely combination of character and functionality to me, and George Tripps gets it, in my opinion. He knows that guitar players want that instant gratification where you can just grab a couple of knobs, get some crazy sounds, and actually get on with the fun part, which is playing with them and then being able to take them out. These Smalls versions I'd actually never run across before, and I am impressed with how much more compact they are than, say, the standard Way Huge style pedal. Just for example, I've got a Superpuss here, and that is a Superpuss side by side with the Stoneburner. Granted, the Superpuss is slightly bigger than most of their big box pedals, but still, that is an impressive amount of shrinkage, which isn't something you'd normally consider impressive. Nevertheless, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you like what I'm doing here on the channel. There's various ways to support me, and a big thank you to George and Way Huge for getting these pedals out to me. I massively appreciate it, and I'm super inspired by these pedals. Until next time, go and play your guitars, make some noise, and I will see you next time.